You're watching TVC Breakfast. The race for who occupies the principal offices in the 9th Assembly has intensified.
In the House of Representatives, it appears it might be a smooth ride for APC's Femi Gbajabiamila and Ahmed Wase. More than 200 members-elect of the Green Chamber have endorsed their speakership bid.
Now, but the same cannot be said for the Red Chamber. Excuse me. The race for who occupies the principal office in the 9th Assembly has stirred up so much accusations and counter-accusations. A group opposed to the ambition of the former Abia governor, Okalu, to be Deputy Senate President, says he needs to clear his name first from the alleged 7.6 billion naira fraud charged leveled against him by the EFCC before aspiring to be Deputy Senate President. Meanwhile, in the camp of the governing APC, Senator Ali Ndume is yet to step down for the party's anointed candidate for Senate President, Ahmed. How will it all play out is a big question Nigerians are asking. And this morning I have joining me in the studio an activist and public affairs analyst, Femi Lawson. Femi, it's good to have you in the studio this morning.
It's my pleasure.
Now, there has been this last weekend, in fact, from Friday to Saturday and to Sunday, a lot of meetings were held, you know, here and there, back and forth.
Very intense. Yeah.
Now, one would say that the politics behind who becomes the Senate President, who is going to be, or even leadership of the National Assembly, that is going to be decided by just few persons, seem to be a national issue right now.
It is because if you look at the political development between 1999 and now, and the fact that our own democracy, we have not really been able to distinguish between the roles of the executive, the legislature, as the case may be, has really created the kind of scenario we are having on our hands today. If you look at the politics that produced the immediate past National Assembly leadership, you understand that what we are seeing now should not be unexpected, because now there are a lot of influences that are outside the National Assembly that are playing active role in determining who becomes the leader of the National Assembly. You know, we have seen images of, and we've read reports of even governors, of people who are not even members of the National Assemblies, who have been, seen as being sponsors of one candidate or the other. Even only a few days ago, the governor of Kaduna said, one of the aspirants for the position of the speakership is a candidate of the president. So these are issues that have created this kind of heat, because ordinarily, election of a Senate president, speaker, their deputies, are ordinarily supposed to be an internal issue of this assembly as provided for by the Constitution, not even the party. Because the kind of democracy we run, the Constitution does not give even any power to the political party to nominate. So that the party has endorsed one particular candidate or the other is actually alien to our Constitution, because Constitution stipulates that members shall elect from among themselves. But because of all these external influences,
members who were duly elected by INEC through the elections into the National Assembly. Now, considering all of these gimmicks here and there, political gimmicks, if you have to put it that way, are you foreseeing any upset on Tuesday when this thing goes down?
There may be a likely upset, especially when you look at the Nigerian political system, where morality is not always, brought forward when it has to be who occupies position. You've seen a situation whereby even candidates of the APC have openly boasted of support from the major opposition party, PDP. So because whoever emerges as the president of the Senate tomorrow, or the Speaker of the House of Representatives, may have emerged as being the person with the biggest bargain, because now it's about who appoint you as chairman, who appoint you as deputy chairman. Now we are trading GC committee, as they used to put it.
So it's a give and take thing right now.
The person who has the highest bargain may, end up being the speaker.
Or
the Senate
not necessarily,
who is endorsed by the party.
Or Femi Lawson, thank you. So, Femi Lawson, thank you very much for coming on this program. TVC Breakfast. Now, the race for who occupies the principal offices in the 9th Assembly has intensified.
In the House of Representatives, it appears it might be a smooth ride for APC's Femi Gbajabiamila and Ahmed Wase. More than 2,000 members-elect of the Green Chamber have endorsed their speakership bid. But the same cannot be said for the Red Chamber. The race for who occupies the principal office in the 9th Senate has stirred up so much accusations and counter-accusations. A group opposed to the ambition of the former Abia Governor Orji Uzor Kalu to be Deputy Senate President says he needs to clear his name first from the alleged 7.6 billion naira fraud charge leveled against him by the EFCC before aspiring to be Deputy Senate President. In the meantime, the camp of the governing APC, Senator Alin Dume, is yet to step down from the party's anointed candidate for the Senate President, Ahmed. How will it all play out? Joining me now is an activist and public affairs analyst, Femi Lawson. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Before now, we didn't used to get as much frenzy, intrigues leading up to the election of National Assembly leadership. What changed?
What has changed basically is because now people have taken it beyond, the constitutional arrangement which stipulates that members shall elect from among themselves a Senate President, a Deputy, a Speaker, a Deputy. Now, a lot of other influences have come in, like the party making endorsement, like, the people in the executives, the president, the governors having,
and some Nigerians are worried about this because they feel it might impact our democracy.
It is, because these are supposed to be different arms of government, but this interference is what has led to what we are saying now. It's becoming a very odd contest, unlike when members sit among themselves and elect leaders. Now that's becoming like a general election. If you look at the campaign,
on
for
newspapers,
this position, our candidates have to travel across the state for an election. Ordinarily, that should be, an intra-house election. So it is unnecessarily creating a new approach, which is alien to the practice of the parliament. And I think that is why we've had so much of this noise about who becomes...
Are there implications to this?
There are implications
on
to
our
this.
democracy.
It's going to be, if care is not taken, robbing the legislature of its independence as an arm of government. Because ordinarily, it should have been the business of legislators to determine how the House is administered. But a situation whereby somebody who is so-called anointed candidate of the president or a particular interest group or, a party becomes the leader of the National Assembly, the House of Rep or the Senate, invariably, the loyalty and the allegiance of such person must go to the source where he has been seen to have been produced for. And it's going to be telling a lot about the independence of the legislature, which is a very sensitive arm, of government.
And now, another aspect is the fact that you talked about the endorsement by parties. The APC in 2015 endorsed the same set of person. It is endorsing again now, and at that time, it didn't work out. What could be the difference?
Possibly because the party may not have learned its lessons from what happened in 2015. It's not out of place for the political party to have interest in who represents the party in the leadership of the assembly, but it is also not so fair when it is seen as an attempt to impose such persons on an assembly that is made up of different political parties, different characters, and a lot of interest. And that is why I said they may not have learned from the lessons, because what defeated the interest of the party in 2015 was a larger interest, which was bigger than the interest of APC itself. Could
this be the reason why Alin Dume is insisting on, going ahead?
Definitely, because, there is always a larger interest. The interest of the APC have been known. But we must begin to look at the interest of other political parties and even other interest groups that are within the APC. Because we must understand that these persons are also within the ruling party, and they also have their supporters within the ruling party, and they are also being, prompted by some prominent actors within the party, just like some did, in 2015.
Now, all right, I'm told we have to leave it at this point. Femi Lawson, thank you so much for your time on TVC Breakfast.
You're watching TVC Breakfast. The race for who occupies the principal offices in the 9th Assembly has intensified.
In the House of Representatives, it appears it might be a smooth ride for APC's Femi Gbajabiamila and Ahmed Wase. More than 200 members-elect of the Green Chamber have endorsed their speakership bid.
Now, but the same cannot be said for the Red Chamber. The race for who occupies the principal office in the 9th Senate has stirred up so much accusation and counter-accusations. A group opposed to the ambition of the former Abia governor, Orji Uzor to be deputy Senate president, says he needs to clear his name first from the alleged 7.6 billion naira fraud leveled against him by the EFCC before aspiring to be deputy Senate president. Meanwhile, in the camp of the governing APC, Senator Ali Ndume is yet to step down for the party's anointed candidate for Senate President, Ahmed. How will it all play out is the question Nigerians are asking. And even members of the National Assembly all don't know how it's going to play out yet, but everyone has his card to his chest one way or the other. Joining me now in the studio is an activist and public affairs analyst, Femi Lawson. Femi, good morning again.
Good morning.
Really nice to see you. Now, will you see when the APC, the ruling party, decided to adopt Ahmed Lawan, would you see that as imposition of candidates?
It was an attempt to impose candidate or take the power of the National Assembly as provided for in the Constitution, which allows members to elect leaders from among themselves. It is not out of place for the party to be interested, but at the initial stage, the party tried to actually close the possibility of other persons from their political party aspiring for this same position. And I think this is one of the things that has necessitated the heat that has followed, other candidates coming up. Successfully the party has been able to, get Senator Danjuma Goje to withdraw from the race. But Senator Ndume is still going ahead. And
would you consider Senator Ali Ndume's aspiration as anti-party?
It may not be anti-party because there has been a precedent, and I think it was too early at that point that the political party took the position on the candidacy of Senator Lawan. There would have been internal consultation and agreement before just coming out boldly, and that was what actually created this heat. If the party had done its homework internally before, coming out at that stage where the national chairman came and, said, no, this is where the position, we may not have gone. And I think it's not out of place because it is allowed under democracy for people to aspire for positions. But the ultimate decider is not even the party. Because as it is, even the major opposition political party, the PDP, will have a role in who becomes the president of the Senate, because neither of the candidates within the APC can really, what we are saying now, we've had it in the past, we have 200 signatures, I have 99 senators.
that have endorsed
and we must understand that now the Assembly has adopted the secret ballot, secret voting system, which the idea of about 300, 400 may, politics.
You don't know who is going to vote for who.
It is not yet Uhuru.
All right.
And I think this candidate must understand that.
All right, Femi, the point there is no law anywhere that says that the ruling party must produce the Senate president, as the case may be. But in the scenario where we are not seeing any senator from the opposition party coming to say, or openly vying for Senate presidents, and even at the House of Reps, would you see it as a subtle way of giving it to the ruling party?
Of course, it's morally expected that the party with the majority should produce the leaders of, even though it is not in the laws, but it is morally expected that the ruling party be allowed to produce the leadership of the assembly. But that nonetheless, the party will be playing a significant role in determining who becomes the leader of the Senate, because the bulk of its vote is going to tell a lot in whatever it is given to, and that may really affect the outcome of the election. And that is why at both chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives, we cannot yet call it a walkover, because of the number of opposition members that are within this. The ruling party presently does not have a clear majority like the two-thirds in both chambers of the assembly.
They still need...
So they need to work actively with the opposition political party.
Right. And
any of these candidates that can really do the bargain, because it's all about the larger interest now.
And it's a give and take thing.
So I think they really have the deal.
All right. Femi Lawson, thank you so much for coming on the program. Right.